So most of you who are sophomores, juniors, and seniors know that I did a drive last year for iPads. Basically, in my nursing career, I made a very good friend, Marianne Van Dam, and in 2014 she founded a nursing school in Ukwala, Kenya. And 2 years ago, I went for the graduation, and as I was looking to see whether there were ways that I could help, one of the things that I realized that there weren't enough textbooks for all the students who were doing their nursing degree. So that's when I came back and I did a fundraiser and got money to buy the ebooks, and then we did a drive at Notre Dame. That's one portion of it. One of the other projects that I'm really, really involved in, which I'm hoping that Notre Dame will collaborate with, is the Lufunga School for Girls. So this is a school that used to be a private school for for high school students. Basically, 13 is kind of the age in Kenya where there's paths for young women to take. There's the get married and have children and take that route. And then there are girls who maybe, if they have the opportunity, will continue their education. Education for women is not a huge priority in most families. So this school was started in hope of giving more girls the opportunity to have that road without having to go down the other path. And through its success, it has about 400 students now. And through its success, it was actually able to be given back to the public school system. My big thing was that one of the things, if the girls get A's in English, math, and science, they are automatically offered a full scholarship at the Marianne Van Dam School of Nursing. The problem is the girls do great in English, they do great in math, they do really well in the theory of science, but they fail the practical of science because they don't have a lab. So you can only imagine so much chemistry, right? Or biology if you're not actually doing it. So so I came home. They had started a lab, but they didn't have the money to finish it. So I came home and I was able to raise money, and we're finishing the lab. One of the things that I decided to do was to talk to the science department and see if there was maybe a way they would be interested in supporting or, like sistering with this school in Ukwala. So the science department was incredibly supportive. Miss Esselot was super excited about the project. So last summer, what we did was Mrs. Girard and a former student from Notre Dame went to Kenya and did a STEM camp for a week. And I'm sure she'll tell you all about that. It was just an incredible thing. It just woke up the hunger for these girls in science. And, when you don't have textbooks and you don't have real access to the internet, all you get as a student is what your teacher tells you.
Well, I had the opportunity to travel to Kenya with one of our alums, Abia Bakai, who graduated in 2020. And we arrived, we had just the weekend to kind of get the lay of the land a little bit, head over to the school and get to see the school, meet the teachers and the students. And then we spent 5 days teaching. We were teaching 6-7 hours a day with classes. And the goal was to have it be as hands-on as possible, bringing with us a lot of supplies and trying to find supplies that would be easy to replicate there. So some simple things and simple types of experiments, things that they could really dive into and do more hands-on. The current way that the education really is, the classes are very large. There are about 55 students on average in each classroom. And so it really is just desks to desks right next to each other. And so it's challenging to do the hands-on labs that you're probably used to having here at Notre Dame. And Bridget is part of the team that's been helping them build a new lab. So she probably talked about that. And we got to use the lab space. It was just the building, the walls. It wasn't quite finished yet when we were there. Construction can take time. And so it wasn't quite finished yet, but we had a chance to have long tables and to really kind of demonstrate some of the things that we do here with hands-on science, especially in our science department. here at Notre Dame. And that was really fun, and getting to meet the students and getting to work again with Abia and have her be just an inspirational young woman scientist who is going to become a doctor. So she's graduating from Berkeley this year and will be going to medical school. I think that was really inspiring. And just getting to share curiosity. So we talked a lot about what does it mean to be curious. There was language challenges because they learn in Kiswahili and in English, and then they also have like their native dialect. So many of the students are using 3 languages. And so that can be just a challenge. And then science, I always say biology is its own language. As you know, there's a lot of vocabulary. So we spent time talking about being curious and asking questions, and finding like understanding as they were playing with materials. They played with water, and we looked at plants, and they did sketching, and they grew seeds. A lot of them have gardens and things, but you put your seeds under the ground. And so we were growing them in little like plastic terrariums that we built out of the plastic water bottles that we had. And that was really fun. And it was just a different kind of experience for them. And Abia and I learned so much from the students and the teachers who are really passionate about what they're doing. But it's hard when you don't have a lot of materials. You don't have a lot of the resources to teach that way. So our goal is to continue those connections and to keep bringing different types of materials and sharing with them different things so that they can continue to expand that type of learning and do it with classes of 55.
So if your teacher only knows about ions, then you'll only learn that, right? So the idea was to get the teachers to learn more about teaching and to be given a chance to have more opportunities and different ways of teaching. So now all the teachers are enrolled in a special program in Kenya to improve math and science teaching. The other thing was that Mrs. Girard, when she went, she actually worked with the teachers, and she showed them, demonstrated like how to get the kids out of their desk and involved. And that was just an amazing week of camp. So what we're looking forward to and the way we're looking to move forward is to see if we can bridge and foster a real relationship between Notre Dame and Lafunga School for Girls through the sciences. So we want to sort of adopt them as a little sister school where the girls can get to know people, get to know their actual students and stuff, and start to have some exchanges, offer ideas on projects and things like that. Notre Dame was really wonderful. I'm think you would have been a freshman when COVID hit. And I don't know if you ever received like one of those kits, the science kits that they gave to all of the students. Well, those were all given back. So I actually sent like 60 of the full kits to Kenya last year. And so Ms. Girard was able to use some of those for the projects that she had done, but she brought a ton of stuff on her own. So what the longer scope of the project is that I'm forming a chapter. I'm forming a Bay Area chapter, and I would love to have a group of Notre Dame students join the program and be with me for the next 2 or 3 years, where we'll work on projects that we can see through fruition. And then who knows, maybe we do a trip. One of the InterSession trips is that we actually go and you can meet the girls and stuff. So it's a project that's in its infancy that has huge possibilities. It's a great capstone project. It's a great thing to be a part of for college apps. So I'm kind of hoping that all of this can sort of blend together.
Yes, sure about that.
Super excited about the InterSession course. I worked with both Nurse Bridget and Diane Dodge, who is the director for the TIBA Foundation, to design a course that is going to look at the culture, the history, the environment, the foods, the experience of what it's like to be in Kenya, in a place that's so different from here. It was so fascinating and wonderful and beautiful. And that was really fun to be in a place I'd never been to that part of Africa before. And then to talk about the young women's issues, that a lot of them are the same as women here would face. Some of them are just more intense there because of, again, the lack of resources. But, what is it like to be a young woman in high school in a different country where education for young women is not as supported as it is here? And what are some of the benefits for young women for their health and well-being, getting an education, and how that really makes a huge change in that young woman's life and their whole family when she's able to get educated and go on to find a career, especially in the health field, which I'm sure Nurse Bridget probably talked about that aspect of things.
Yeah. Thank you so much. If you have any pictures that you could share or anything like that, that'd be really cool.
I do. I have a folder. I could probably share it with you, Francesca.
Yeah.
And some of them will be used in the Impact magazine. But there's a lot of there's a lot of pictures, so you can just kind of look through anything and use whatever you want. And so again, the goal for InterSession is to also have students in the InterSession learn about all these things, but also figure out how do we want to develop our relationship and build that relationship with those students. We're hoping, the plan is to have some Zoom chats with actual people from there. It's hard because it's 10 hours difference. But Zoom chats, maybe pen pals, things like that, where we could actually make connections and share our experiences with each other. So that's another one of the pieces. And as Nurse Bridget might have said, the goal then of building the program further so that students would have an opportunity to go visit.
Together. And so during the InterSession, the myself and the CEO and director of the TIBA Foundation, which is the TIBA that this is the organization I go there with. We're going to do an InterSession, a 4-day InterSession, sort of introducing students to the culture, the geography, the issues that have to do with women, mostly things like many girls miss school when they have their period because they don't have any supplies, so they stay home. So TIBA is doing a huge project where they're delivering menstrual products, and so that the girls can go to school. Like, imagine missing a week every month. Like, it's, you can't keep up. And so that's one of the big projects. The other thing is that we're teaching them self-defense. There is a lot of abuse of women and young girls, so we're teaching them self-defense. That's part of that program that they did during the STEM week. And it's just giving these girls hope for the future and opening doors for them. And I think that this is a project that if girls get involved from Notre Dame, they will be able to see it all the way through. And I really think that personally, they'll get just such a view of life in somewhere else other than our own backyard. So I think it's a great opportunity. I hope that some of the girls will take advantage of it. I look forward to hanging out with them, and I really look forward to teaching them everything I know about Kenya. Diane, who's coming with me, has been there for years. She knows it all. So I'm hoping more people will come.